Welcome. This is Freedom Engine. This is where you take control of your digital life. So if you're making money online, this is for you. Let me start by making something profoundly clear. You don't own your accounts. You rent access to them. Let that sink in. Knowing this is the starting point. The thing that you think you control, you don't actually control. Sure, you know how to get in. Maybe you even remember your password. But if you get locked out, can you cleanly get back in? In less than a minute? Or is it going to take you all day? Or you got to call somebody and ask for help? ChatGPT it. Access is decided by recovery. Most people making money online have never checked where that actually points. Am I the only person that finds that troubling? If your income, your work, your access lives online, this applies to you. It applies to you because everything that you use is connected. And when something fails, it doesn't fail in on itself. It fails in the system and spreads or weakens links along the way. There is no partial failure. I think that we all think that we're secure because we have passwords. Some of us even use 1Password or password managers. But listen, passwords are not a system. Accounts exist, but they're not structured. And what I mean by that is control isn't clearly defined. The recovery path is assumed. So I hope that we can all agree already that that is not security. That is risk exposure. That is the little cracks that the hackers or these data siphoners, that's what they look for. What that actually means is if you don't know or control your own recovery, you don't control the access. I know that might seem weird at first, but hang in there because this will all make a lot of sense. So ownership isn't where you log in from. It's where the system sends recovery. That's what decides who gets back in, right? So if I own your recovery, I also own that forget password button. There's a myth that people lose access because someone hacked them. And in very few cases, sure. In the case of big companies, sure. But for the majority of the cases, we lose access because the system fails. The reset paths go somewhere weak, like an email with the same password for the last 10 years, or even better yet, the same password as 2 other accounts that you've had for the last 10 years as well. That's a broken system, so recovery doesn't work when it matters. And I maybe not everybody here has experienced what it's like to try to recover an account that you've been locked out of, but it is a headache and it gets confusing. No one actually knows what controls what. When one system fails, everything connected follows. The cascade is brutal because of how the modern web is architected. Gmail isn't just email. It's a recovery address for almost everything else. Right? The moment that's gone, the attackers own your forget password button on every site that sends reset links there. That's terrible. The phone backup failure is a gut punch. Most people assume that their phone is a fallback, but Android backups are tied to a Google account. No account, no restore. A lot of times we think we're protected because of this web of authorities that we've put together, but they're not structured. And if 2FA codes are going to that phone's Google Authenticator and the app's backup is synced to that same Google account, then the codes are gone too. I mean, the hardest part isn't losing access. The hardest part is losing income, losing clients. The hardest part is that there's no neutral ground to stand on to start recovering. Every recovery path routes back through the thing that's locked. I mean, I don't know if anyone's doing any big deals, but it'd be bad timing to not know how to get back into your account. This isn't random. Every failure comes from a gap in one of the 4 layers. And that's what Freedom Engine is here to address. It's based on 4 layers. Control. Who owns access? Control is the same as recovery. Who owns access? Coverage. What exists? What do you have in place that covers your ass? And defense. How is it protected? Then the final layer is maintenance, whether it holds over time. If one layer is weak, the system breaks. Inside those 4 layers, there is 12 pillars. Each pillar represents one part of your system. When a pillar is weak, it becomes an entry point. And that's what we're about to check. So what you're about to do is you have your Freedom Engine exposure check. You're going to run a structured exposure check. Answer yes or no. If you are unsure, it is a no. The exposure check is based on 18 questions. This isn't about being perfect, and no one is going to judge you. No one's going to judge your score because it's not for anyone else to see, but you. This is just about clarity. Okay, so go ahead and run the exposure check. You're going through 18 questions across your system. Control, access, maintenance, and coverage. This is not one account. This is everything. Try to be as honest as you can and fill it out as much as you can. At the end of Tier 1, I invite some one-on-one calls so we can clarify any questions. Your answers will be placed into a risk exposure level. 0 to 6 means that you have high exposure. 7 to 13 means that your exposure is moderate. And 14 to 18 means you have a stronger baseline, but it can still be defined. This is not judgment. This is just position. What this means is that it shows you how your system behaves under pressure. It shows you where somebody gets in, what breaks first, and how far it will spread from there. What you just saw is not a list of problems, it's a system. What you thought you controlled shows that control isn't fully defined. What you thought were your recovery paths, it shows you that your recovery isn't reliable. And more importantly, dependencies aren't mapped. That's what creates risk. This webinar is not about, this webinar is about exactly that. It's about exposure. Nothing gets fixed here. This is visibility only because you can't fix what you can't see. Do your exposure check as well and as honestly as you can, and you will fix as many problems and have as much clarity as you put in. The decision at this point is clear. You make money online. You depend on your system to put food on your table. You put the work and trust in your operating system to produce. So, you can keep operating like you have, now knowing the risks. Or you can define the system properly. Doing nothing is still a decision. One of the two carries less risk. The next step is where the system gets defined. It's where the system takes shape, what exists, what's in control, and what breaks first. Structure doesn't come before this moment, it comes from it.